all right.
Cool. Well, this is it, man. This is Social D Theater with Hassan El-Amin and friends. And I want
All
my
right.
friends to know that I am honored today that I am talking with royalty. I'm talking with one of our honored and distinguished elders, a trailblazer, a visionary. If there was a Hall of Fame award for outstanding contribution to the American theater, this man right here would be a first time 100% ballot inductee. I'm talking with Mr. Lou Bellamy. They consider him an American stage director, producer, entrepreneur, longtime educator, and this is the B. He is the founder of, and the, I guess, former artistic director of Penumbra Theater. So it is truly my honor to welcome to Social D Theater with Hassan El-Amin, Mr. Lou Bellamy. What's up, Lou?
All right. Thank you, Hassan. I should carry you around with me. That was wonderful.
Hey,
You
brother.
know, I looked up because I knew we were going to talk. You remember when you came to Penumbra, what year it was?
1983.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir. Don't bother
Yeah,
me, I can't cope. Marvette Knight.
exactly. Exactly.
And then I had a long, illustrious career there, I have to say.
Well, I think I would agree with that. Once in the company, you're always there. So, it's cool.
That's how
Good.
I feel, brother. A long time. I was a young man coming to Penumbra. I got to work on my chops there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, but you brought a considerable thing, with you. That's why we need these black companies to recognize that nascent talent, that power inside of somebody, and give them a venue to develop it and let it grow. Now it's chancy. You take some risk because you don't never know what bag these brothers and sisters going to jump out of.
Right, right, right.
Is worth it because you get a Hassan. You
Thank
know,
you, brother. Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Well, then my first question to you, Lou, would be why Penumbra? What was it, man, that made you say, what were the motivating factors that you said, I'm going to do this?
Well, it's an old thing and it isn't anything that's new to black people, but white people were in the body of major theatrical venues telling stories about us that I've mellowed. Before I would have said it was the devil trying to run off and give us this skewed view of ourselves, and it's but now I understand that to be them telling a story about us as though they're looking through a keyhole.
Mm,
They only see what we allow them to see. And you look at that poem, We Wear the Mask. We wear the mask that grins and lies, that shields our face and hides our eyes. So these people were telling stories about us from their perspective. And I wasn't seeing myself. I'll never forget, Hassan, for instance, when I asked you, because you're the first black man I ever met, that was named what we used to call a free name
that's right.
on El-Amin. And I asked you, I said,
That's right.
when did you take that name? You said, my daddy gave me that name.
That's right.
Yeah, at any rate, though, they're only telling what they saw. And it was a very skewed vision of who we are, and I wanted to have a place where I could see my aunt and my grandmother and my uncles,
Yeah.
and in all their not so that we could be overly moral or righteous, but we could just tell the truth about ourselves, because that truth is beautiful. I mean, when you let all them brothers and sisters out up on that stage and all them different colors and
Yes, sir.
and attitudes, and they glow. They're just like, I love it. I never get tired of seeing that beauty on the stage.
So Lou, when did you know, man? When did you realize that, Penumbra was this, I don't know, I tell people it's like a cathedral that, that was for Black excellence. I do, brother. I say it was a
It's the truth.
for
It's the
Black
truth.
excellence. So when did you know and realize that you had this kind of gem?
Well, it's late. When we began, you remember, Hassan, we was having fun.
Exactly.
We was doing, and it was the way we expressed ourselves. It was our citizenship, our manhood, our womanhood, our everything. That's where you put it. You put it up there on that stage.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I didn't know. When we first did August Wilson's first professional production, Black Bart and the Sacred
Sacred
Hill,
Hills, that's right.
I remember saying, as women were getting up, walking out of the theater mid-show, I'm standing there with my arms up saying, "Oh, please, these are my funders. Please don't go. I'll never do another August Wilson again." So, we didn't recognize what that was. It, as is often the case, you understand yourself by the reflection you cast in other people.
Hmm.
And so other people began to see that. People would move to the Twin Cities to be around Penumbra. And I'd tell them, they'd come and audition. I'd say, "Well, you're not good enough yet. But I know there's a bunch of theaters around here that'll hire you just like you are. And you come in here and you watch." We've never had closed rehearsals. Right. You remember that.
That's right.
So that it's open and people can see these brilliant folks working and find out that it's nothing magical. They're working hard.
That's
the
right.
backs of their legs ache. They're complaining. You know what I mean? It's hard work. And these Black folks, these Negroes, are tricky. Yeah. So you got to study them. It ain't good enough to put the script under your pillow and sleep on it at night. Yeah. You got to study them, because this culture is deep and wide and meant to obfuscate and meant to send you down different alleys and so forth. So if you're going to corner these brothers and sisters, you really have to study them,
So Lou, with that, man, so, I mean, because I can remember doing like Selma and Poe, sure. Stuff like that. So how many, if you're going to say world premieres or different African-American playwrights did Penumbra have on their stage?
Well, I think that the count is 40 world premieres.
40 world premieres.
Yeah. And a lot of people are still doing those shows, so yeah, that's good. But one of the things that marks our stage, and if anyone watches it and wants to get online and look at it, is a quilt pattern. And one of the things that my daughter, who's running the company now, has taken as a symbol of the theater is the Sankofa bird. So that's that bird looking back at that ball on his tail, And what that's, of course, signifies is you got to look back to know where you're going and to measure your progress moving forward. So at the same time, we should be doing new stuff, or else white people will teach us how to appreciate it, like they did blues in many cases. But Eric Clapton grabbed the blues, and if he hadn't done it, all them old blues men would have been out there dying, So we've got to take care of the past, but not be afraid to go into the future. That means we have to do classics. It shows that Black people have been intellectually engaged in this struggle since they got here,
Yes, sir.
from the very second they got here. And we've got to chart that all the time. Not that we have to live there. I don't want to be going and doing slave. I get tired of that too. But you can't deny that, and you can't deny the way that has shaped our existence in this country.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, so Lou, what are you doing now, man? I mean, you turned over the theater to your daughter. She's now the
Right.
artistic director. So you're retired? Are you just directing? What's on your plate now?
Well, they call me artistic director emeritus.
Okay.
So I still have, I'm not without influence in our theater. So I can still, do things. My daughter continues to hire me. So
Okay.
directing a couple shows a year, but I'm freelancing, I'm out. Hassan, it sounds, I'm not a religious person. I think I'm spiritual, but uh, I almost view what I'm doing now as evangelism.
Hmm.
I go out and I do these plays, I direct them at places, because you see, people think they understand it. They think they've seen the power of that Penumbra ensemble approach to the drama. But when they see it, even in something that they've seen many times, I'll go out and do an August Wilson, and people done seen Fences before.
Right.
But when I get up there and do it with this style, people say, "My God, I never saw that. I never saw that play before. I thought I'd seen it." So it's my belief that when you go out and show them what that looks like, they won't settle for anything else.
That's deep.
You got to have that.
So then we know that you mentioned August earlier with his Black Bark. So that's
Mm-hmm.
83, I guess, somewhere around there, right? Because I came in and I know that play, I was seeing the posters on the wall and everything.
Yeah.
Here you are in 83, you got funders walking out, you're doing August Wilson, you say, "I'll never do any more." And then August Wilson, I believe that you're the only theater in the country who has done all of his play, all 11. And August Wilson is considered a son of Penumbra. So when did you know or recognize that you had this gem of a diamond in this playwright called August Wilson in your theater company?
Well, like you alluded to earlier, that was a special time, and there were, it moves around the country, but at that time there was a firmament, a blooming of intelligent, talented people, all in there, held together mainly because they couldn't find venues and anyone to do their work anywhere else. So it's being done there. Claude Purdy's there. Claude tells August, "Man, you got to see this. You got to come. I ain't never seen that." So August comes and sees we have reserved seating, real sets,
Right.
and all that. And so it draws them to you, and it sort of rolls on itself. But we had no idea. When I look back at the alumni that have come out of there, Claude Purdy, August Wilson, Marion McClinton, Abdul Razak. I mean, these people are stars in their own right.
That's
Hassan
right.
El-Amin, you put one of them in a show and you got a show to build. And all of them are in there every day, fighting, arguing, creating, falling in and out of love, and all them things, and that made for an ensemble approach to the text that I didn't know we were doing.
Yeah.
People will say, this style of yours arrests an audience. It's confrontative. It reaches out and grabs them. Well, the stage was so damn small, we didn't have no room. We had to get off the stage and act out in the aisles.
That's right.
So the shape of the space, the material, all those people were so talented, and they were just gathering themselves. You could see them just ready to move. And then along comes this playwright saying some shit that's worth saying.
Yeah.
And them brothers is ready. There, let's go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a wonderful time to be together. And I wish we would have known what it was we had.
Yeah.
You were around a lot of it. And you didn't know. We didn't know. We was just trying to get to the next minute.
Right.
And be true to ourselves.
Yeah.
To not do anything that embarrassed us or our parents. The worst thing, because see, I was in theater in my hometown. The worst thing that could have happened is my mother come in there and say, "What do you think you're doing?" What, you know, and that coincidentally happened to me when I was an undergrad. I was cast in Finian's Rainbow. It was my first play. And if you don't know it, it's one scene in there is a college student who comes to work for Finian, this Irishman. And the Irishman wants him to shuffle. And the college student playing me, being played by me, wouldn't shuffle. So the joke is toward the end of the play, the old man is having a heart attack and calling for his heart medicine and needs it badly. And out comes this student, you know, with the tray shuffling across the stage. Well, it brings down the house. It's a funny moment. Right. And it's a kind of justification, a kind of moral advantage. My mother wasn't having it, Hassan. I looked out there, I could see her out the corner of my eye, getting up, leaving, excuse me, going across the aisle. She got up, she gave me so much hell. She said, "I didn't send you down here to do that," you know. And so I think that was always in my mind. Yeah. To not do anything that embarrassed the people collectively. You know, doesn't mean that you don't tell the truth now. Right. Because, you know, it's why we should be doing more Ed Bullens right this minute. Yeah. But Black folks are ashamed of those people. And producers are afraid to take the chance to do that work. And those are brilliant plays. Yeah, yeah. You know, and I wanted to do The Taking of Miss Janie when I was a professor at the University of Minnesota. And the Black graduate students en masse said, "We're not going to play those stereotypes." I said, "You damn fool. Them are real people. They're out there. That man, how are you going to say Ed Bullens writes stereotypes?" Right. What happened is white people took those images and blew them all out of shape and made a Huggy Bear or whatever it might be. But those people exist and are real. Absolutely. If you don't believe it, you go out there and go messing with them and see. You know? But it's, yeah, that was always my fear, that I would not tell the truth or unwittingly perpetuate a lie or a stereotype. Yeah. Because you have to really study this. I mean, when people come to me and ask me about that style, I give them history books to read and stuff, because it doesn't start. See, they make the mistake, Hassan, I think, thinking that theater is the end. And that's not it. It's the story. It's the people. And you got to learn them. You learn the craft of theater, how to build sets, how to maintain a character, how to do voice control, only so you can tell the story. That's right. See?
That's right.
That's the only reason to go through all that shit. Well, don't nobody want to learn to point their toes and jump around and stuff. You do that so you can tell the story of these beautiful, beautiful people. And you got to have all that stuff to be able to tell that little story, because there's that much of it in them, know.
Now you mentioned August, you mentioned Marion McClinton, Abdul El Razak, Claude Purdy.
Yeah.
I even think one time I looked up and saw James Craven in a movie with Robert Redford.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
all of these brothers who have had an impact on the theater world, all come out of Penumbra. And I say one of the greatest, I don't care, he's my favorite playwright of all time, is that brother who you told him you wouldn't put on stage anymore. August Wilson.
He's mine too, yeah.
Man, the impact. And all of that comes from you, Lou Bellamy. All of that comes from you.
No, it comes from a milieu and a time that demanded that, and a milieu that could support it. I mean, other than us having that space to do, we would have just been doing what Black folks do. We've been telling them lies. Like August, he'd be telling them lies. All those stories I heard long before they got into plays.
That's right.
I'd hear August was telling me about Ma Rainey and what he was going to do with Levy when he has him put that knife up to God.
That's right.
August, man, you can't do that. You just can't do that. He said, I'm gonna do it, man. So it all fed each other, all those characters. You look at my brother, Terry.
Yes.
Terry did the original readings and worked on Ma Rainey playing Levy.
I saw him when he performed
now,
on that
now
stage.
Think about it, Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Can you see anybody more Levy than Terry?
Oh no, perfect. No, he
so
was Levy.
A lot of what grew into Levy came out of the work that they were doing at that time.
Yes.
And that's a natural thing, and it's what makes for a kind of theater that I have to have. I can't do anything else. I don't want to. People try to get me to do it. You should be directing Chekhov.
Yeah.
Well, shit, August Wilson's good enough for me. Ed Bullins is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Fuller will do.
Exactly.
And Dominique Morisseau, Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, there's people out there. The day is gone when you have to reach and get one of those Eurocentric classics to have to plumb your depths as.
Oh no, we've got plenty of work. We've got plenty.
It's and been out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Been out there.
Yes, sir.
But we've been sort of deprived of the history of it. That's why I started teaching Black theater history, because Black folks need to know that these intellectuals have been concerned about these issues and about them. Since you talk with Ndizaki Shange. Now, I remember asking her about, because I'd always tease her about her being a cultist, because she had these people like a cult, and I said, well, what'd you write for Colored Girls for? What was it about? She said, I just wanted them girls to know we was thinking about them. Oh my God. This is a woman who started a genre, a movement.
Yes.
Nobody done no choreo poem before Ndizaki.
That's right.
That's so right. Zaki did that. And all she's saying is, I just wanted them to know we was thinking about
That's right. Something so simple. It came out of that simplicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, those brilliant people when I had only taught them in my classes, but when I started doing this theater, founded this theater, I'd call them up, and all of a sudden I'd be talking to Charles Fuller. Hello, I'm saying, oh my God, or Zaki or somebody, you know what I mean? And they were always so warm and giving and wonderful and happy to have their work done, happy to get a royalty check.
Lou, again, I say the same thing. You created this mecca, this cathedral for Black excellence, an outlet for Black talent across the United States. And some kind of way they heard about you and they heard about Penumbra and they
Yeah,
came.
yeah, they do. And Hassan, you can see one of those actors on the stage. They stand out.
Absolutely.
You'll see him up there and you go, oh, I know where she came from. I just saw Tanya Jackson,
Yes.
do a Penumbra moment. Sarah's got everybody in this COVID time doing monologues. And Tanya did a monologue from King Hedley. And she played Tanya. I directed her as that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she got older, which is the wonderful thing about having this number of plays, is you can grow through plays and so forth. It's
Believe me, I know, I'm there.
I know it. Lester and I just finished doing Offenses. Lester started out, Lester Purry.
Mm-hmm.
Lester started out playing Corey to my Troy.
Yeah.
Now I'm directing him, he's playing Troy.
Yes.
You can move through this stuff. Claude used to say, and he was so right, August is as deep as you want to go. No matter how deep you want to go, there's some stuff in there for you. Because and especially in those early plays, because he was really, his research was just excellent, and he was able to, do some stuff that later on time and people sort of amended.
Yeah.
Those early plays, Lord.
Well, Lou, I want to thank you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you, man, for joining me on Social D Theater. And I'm true when I say everything I said about you, man. Visionary,
I appreciate it, Hassan.
One of our honored and distinguished elders. I believe it, man, with all my heart. I know the impact that you've had in my life. I know the impact that you've had in the American theater. That's real. I think of Denzel Washington doing Fences. I'm like, well, that started, back in Penumbra day. That's where it started. Yeah. And everybody doesn't know that, but I know that. I know the impact that Penumbra has had across this United States when it comes to America theater. And I know for a fact the person who had the vision, the man who started it all, was Lou Bellamy. And I'm on here on Zoom with Lou Bellamy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my brother. I can call him my brother.
You can.
Hassan Lee.
Hassan Lee Amin.
Hassan Lee Amin. That's right. We go back. And I could talk about Marion. I could remember with me and Marion.
Oh, yeah.
I was a assistant to him directing Jelly Belly,
Sure.
And this went on to Tony Award nominations on Broadway.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Penumbra Theater.
Those are the people that were around there at that time. And I hope that it'll be that way for me, that people will call me and say hello, and I'll say hi, and start telling them just like they did me.
Yeah.
Those people, August says it so well, I'm standing in my grandfather's shoes. But it is important. I recognize that you don't do very much new in theater. Maybe in the world, maybe what we do is the same thing over and over again. But I do know that I wouldn't be able to see as far as I was able to see standing on my tiptoes with stilts if it wasn't on those people.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like I'm standing on your shoulders as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Made an impact in my life, and I appreciate you for that. And I appreciate
Good.
you for joining me today on Social Deep Theater. Got nothing but big love for you, Lou.